Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Emmanuel and my job is to help you simplify programming so that you can start building your dream project as soon as possible. In today's tutorial, I want to show you some cool trick with HTML. I already started a series on HTML, CSS and JavaScript. So in this one, I just want to show you a way to quickly, maximize your time writing HTML code. So I'm just going to open an instance of my folder structure here in VS Code. I'm using VS Code. And of course, I have tutorials on how to use VS Code here. If you're not familiar, I want to create a new file. This one is the index.html. This one is going to be youtube.html, just like that. Part of the cool trick I'm going to start with the way you can actually maximize your time writing HTML code. So, for example, I want to auto-generate the HTML boilerplate. To do that, you can just do the exclamation mark and press enter on your keyboard. That's not the only way. I can undo that and then type HTML and then select the one with the 5 in front because the latest version of HTML is HTML5. All right, that does the same thing pretty much. So let's say speed up development. Let's just call it that. I believe if you're watching this video, I expect you to already know how to write HTML code and all that. So I'm just trying to show you the element extension that comes with Visual Studio Code allows you to actually auto-generate your code in this way. All right. So the first thing I want to do in here is to create a div container that has, the header section, the head section, and then the main content, right? So I'm going to say div, and because in this div, I want to have a class of container, I'm just going to do dot container. That will to create a container class inside this div. Once I'm done with that, I also understand that I want to create two div, or maybe, okay, I want to create a header, yes, a header inside in the container div, and I want to create main content. So I'm just going to do header, I'm going to do plus main. Let's say that. Now you see, this is what happened. It created this div, and it also created this header and the main inside that div. Let me do that again just so you understand what I just did. So my intention is to create two container, or let's say two wrapper inside a div, right? So to create a wrapper inside let's say a div or a container or a wrapper inside a div, you need to say div. Okay, let's say div. If I want something inside this div, I can put the greater than sign and put that in say header, for example. So if you press enter now, it's going to create the div and put that header inside of it. All right. If that's not just what I want, I also want to, apart from the header, I also want to create main. But main is in the same level with the header. I'm going to use a plus sign for the main, so it will understand that header and main are in the same level. If you press enter now we have header and we have main in the same level. Both of them are inside the div container. So let me go back to the previous version. I'm going to have div.container, and then inside that I want to have header. Inside the header, beside the header, or maybe under the header, per se, I want to have the main, and then that's how that is. All right. So it might not just be that. I might also want to have, some sort of container inside of each of these. So here now I might say header component. That's going to be a class, and then plus I want to have main, and then I can also have a main class there. So now we have all of that written without having to write them manually, which is pretty cool, right? So in the header here, I want to have maybe a nav bar. So that nav bar, I know that nav bar will have a UL in it. So I'm going to put a UL. Inside the UL, I want to also have some LIs. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to dot nav bar, and then inside that I want to have a UL. Inside the UL, I want to have some li, and I want them to be 4. So if I press enter now, you can see what I have now. So I have the nav with the class of navbar, the UL, and then li that are 4. And in here, I can just start typing home, about, contact. Maybe we can also have FAQ. FAQ. That makes your life a lot easier, right? So So now that we are done with header, we can have our main. So main, let's say we want to have two containers side by side. So to do that, we can do, let's say, section, and then beside the section, I want to have, or let's say I have a wrapper div, and then inside that div, I want to have section 2 times, and I want each of them to have, a class of uh, left. I'm going to modify the second one to be right. Okay, that went wrong. That didn't quite work. So I'm going to just have section with class of left, and then plus section with class of right. And then if I press enter now we have the left and right. So this goes to the left, this goes to the right. Once I put the content, I can do lorem just to fill up that, and then I'm going to, word wrap so that we can see everything here. Of course, the command I use for the word wrap is the Alt and Z on my keyboard. However, if you want to do it manually, you can go to view. The last option here is word wrap, which you can use for the same purpose. And here I can put anything I like. I can put an image with some text. So img with a class of, say, fluid, maybe. And here I can have a paragraph of lorem, and then right there. So I'm already having some interesting content there. So let's say I'm done with these two main parts, and this one, let's say, okay, so still inside the main, I might also want to have maybe a section for, let's say, form, let's say regis, let's just say form section. So this is more like I'm doing some templating, and this will help you if you are a React developer, or anything that has to do with HTML. It just helps you to write fast. It helps you to not waste your time trying to write the tags one by one, right? So and this closes all the tags for you and all that. So that makes your life a lot easier. So let's say I want to have a form. Inside the form, I want to have maybe a div, and then that div is going to contain, what will that contain? It's going to contain maybe form group, and then inside that div, I want to have input with a class of form control, and I want to have like maybe 4 of them. Or I don't seem to quite work. 4, does that work? Okay, so now let's see what happened here. Right, so I think we have 4 for real. Okay, so these are inputs, another input, and this is another input. Yeah. And of course, you can change the type to maybe this one is email, this one is number, this one is password. However, if you intend to have them have maybe a label, you can do it in a little different way. So I know that I want to have a form. Inside it, I'm going to have a form group input, div, and inside that div, inside the first div, I'm going to have inputs with form control. Of course, before that, I actually want to have label. And then I want to have input form control. Or I could even do input with type. Let me not specify the type, because of course text is the default. So input to type with class of form control. Let's make it 4, maybe 4, and then that's do we have all the labels? I think we do. So here now I have a label, and then apart from the label, I have the input, and then I have, so it didn't actually do the right thing, what I expected it to do. I expected to have, label for each of the inputs, but nonetheless, at least we got one of the labels. All right, so I'm just going to have to do the rest of it manually. However, I think the way I usually write this part is to have one label, one input, instance. So if we have this now, so now I know that I have this one right here, and I also have an input tag here, and then this one here. So what I'm going to do is just to highlight this. There's an extension I'm using to press, once I press Ctrl D, it's going to duplicate. So I can have that as many times as I want, and that also solves the problem, right? So, and then of course my my ID, I want to actually have an ID here. So since all of the input, I want them all to have ID, I can Control click each of these place. On your keyboard, it might be Alt click. In my own is Control and click. And then here, okay, so let's say full name. I'm just going to Control click twice. So full name here, and I want to have the full name, like so, and that solves this problem here. So for the second one here, let's say email. I'm going to Control click rather. Let's say email. So in the label here, I can do email address. Makes our life beautiful. And of course, I can change this to email as well. So for password, or maybe for phone number, I can do phone, Control click, phone, like so, phone number, maybe. And of course, because the phone number, I can make it a number input if I want to. It doesn't necessarily have to be. Yeah. So for password, I'm going to make this password. So I'm going to go password. So like so. So now you can see that within a small time, I've been able to create a complete form with all the different input and all of that. So the purpose of this video is just for you to really optimize so that you don't have to keep writing your HTML code. If you are new to this, if you're new to writing HTML and all that, this will speed up your working process. If say you want to write a table as well, you can have a table, and then inside the table I want to have a caption, or maybe I want to have table, inside the table I want to have T head, and then I want to also have T body, right? I can press enter like this. So now we have T head and T body. I can push this down and I can push this down. That makes my life easier. So here now I can then have TH, and then let's say 4 of them. And then, oh, so I forgot to put TR here. So table row here, and inside the table row, I want to have TH, and I want 4 of them. So like so, we have that. I can do the same thing here. I'm going to have TR, and then inside the TR, I'm going to have TD, table data, and I want to have 4 of them, or like so, and that's that about that. So now I can have, let's say, serial number, right? So serial number, let's say product name, let's say price, and then quantity, let's say Q quantity, like so. So let's say this is 1, and then product name, let's say sugar, I don't know. And then let's say price, let's say $10, and then quantity, let's say 1 pack. All right, so if you have any other ways you speed up your writing your HTML code, you can also write that in the comment section. And I hope this video is useful. Thank you for watching. Of course, I didn't run this. Let me quickly run that. So of course I'm using the live server. So I'm just going to click on go live, and then it's going to pop up on my browser right here. So this is everything we've done so far. You can see all of that and that. And of course, this is not pretty. I didn't put any style in there. But of course, the goal of the video is just so you can see how quickly you can write, long HTML and all of that. So please, if you find this video useful, subscribe to my channel, like my video, and share so that more people just like you can benefit from this wonderful tutorial. See you next time. Thank you for watching.